Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs. Today is April the 6th, 2023 on the ancient moon calendar, 2024 on the ancient sun calendar. All rise and stand and remain standing into perpetuity. This is a sovereign, living, ancient, Article 3, Moorish American, Al-Moroccan Universal Court action. We are the Sovereign Living Justices. I am Sovereign Living Justice Pauline Denise Ritchie. My free chosen sovereign appellation is Light Tajiri Bay. All are in capitis diminutio nolo, in red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. All Moors are the original indigenous, sovereign, ancient Al-Moroccan, Moorish American ascendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites and Canaanites. Our full faith and trust, our allegiance, our credit, and our energy are hereby vested in ourselves, for we are the people who are the original indigenous, natural, divine, sovereign, ancient empire state from Morocco. We're the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government. We're ancient Washington District for Columbia. We're the Universal Moorish American Consulate and the Earth-wide Article 3 Moorish American Consular Court. Today, we are executing and exercising the law by our sovereign status, which is the original indigenous, natural, divine, sovereign, ancient Article 3, living United States District for Columbia Court, and we are the sovereign fiduciaries, creditors, executors, trustees, ministers, possessors, and titled beneficiaries for this cause for action. We are peace. We are one nation, one state, one empire, and one God. We hereby recognize ourselves and accept our sovereign ascension. We've issued a universal creditor's bill for possession and custody over all land, all natural resources, all commerce, and all other property. We, the one true God nation, exercise all eternal, ancient, sovereign, original rights at this time and at all points in time, pro-tonk. The first thing that we want to do, that we're so excited about, is we want to welcome Empress Beth and the Moorish Kenyan government, nation, and consulate at Kenya, Africa, Northeast Africa. This is Northwest Africa. We want to say congratulations to you. We were so honored to connect with you by way of communication devices. We look forward to connecting with you further by way of video conference as we continue to set up and stand these ancient governments up on the earth. So we thank you so much for reaching out to us. We know that you did receive the nationality documentation for Kenya. Feel free, and this is for all nations at earth that are connecting with us now. One thing that we all should know is that when we connect, we are literally the true realization of something that's being acted out by the BRICS nations. We are the gold-backed nations connecting. So we're going to be doing commerce together. We're going to be doing sovereign gold-backed exchanges together. We look forward to sending the products that we have here to you, and we look forward to exchanging those for products that you have there as well. And then just connecting with you as brothers and sisters. And again, this is for all nations at earth. If you are a sovereign nation, and actually, if you're one original indigenous living being, you are already the start of a sovereign, original, indigenous, ancient nation. We invite you to join with us. Connect with us. We're on WhatsApp at 334-294-9828, and you can reach me directly there. We can also be reached by email at thegovernment@gmail.com. And the government, it's TheGovernment, E. Government has an E on the end. It is the ancient English spelling. Some might call it French. Some might call it Spanish spelling, however, whichever you prefer. So again, all it takes is one, just one being, original, indigenous, ancient, sovereign being. And that's enough to get your government, your nation, and your consulate started on your land. We're so grateful for each and every one of you, and we look forward again to connecting with you. Feel free to join us on these congressional assemblies so that we can govern together. We are absolutely governing the entire earth together at this time, and for that we're grateful. In light of that, we also want to just briefly go over the foundational governing principles that we use. All of our documents are on Moorish government letterhead and are done by quo warranto mandamus restitutio affidavits, which are ancient sovereign empire state universal Article 3 court actions. The first step is, again, to proclaim your ancient Moorish, Kenyan or Moorish, Ethiopian or Moorish, wherever you're from, Moorish Japanese, Moorish Chinese, claim whatever connects you to your land. Claim your nationality on the public record in red ink in all lowercase letters first, and then in blue ink, okay, in capitis diminutio nulli, which means first letter capitalized and the rest of the letters lowercase. So we have done that. We've invoked sovereign, supreme, ancient jurisdiction with our judicial proclamation documents. In many cases, we wrote and published these documents in ancient English, which is not the same language as United States Corporation Company English, which is a dead language for the dead foreign United States Corporation Company. We are the living states united. The second principle that we instituted and activated, we wrote and placed a termination of all presumed dead foreign United States Corporation Company contracts on the public record. This is a permanent, irrevocable termination, nunc-pro-tunc, now for then. However, we state that regularly, that we've terminated all presumed corporate contracts. Steps 1 and 2 did enjoin us with our ancient, it actually just activated an ancient joining of us with our ancient sovereign state, nation, government, and empire. We have governed since time immemorial into perpetuity. We are the law. We are the people. We are the government. These are facts, and that is not new. It is ancient. We've always been the government. Step 3, we wrote and placed a trust proclamation affidavit on the public record, simply stating that we have a sovereign trust and that our trust is vested in we, the ancient people, only, and for all of the nations at earth who are joining with us from all of the different land masses. When we say we the people, we're speaking of all of us together. This one-page proclamation stated that our full faith, trust, allegiance, credit, and energy is vested in ourselves at all times, nunc-pro-tunc. And again, feel free to use our letterhead and just change the wording and edit it to fit where you are. So for the Moorish Kenyans, you can take the same letterhead and add your flags. This flag right here, this one, should be on all flags at Earth, and it's actually a banner. It is a commercial banner, so that as we do commerce together, all will see that we are governing together. Okay, so that is what this flag is for. So that when your products come here, we recognize them as products that belong to us. and that they're coming to be exchanged with us. And then this is our ancient flag here, the red flag with the green 5-pointed star. That flag should also be on your documents, and then you add your state flags and your country flags and your tribal and nation flags if you so choose. Okay, and feel free to add our government seals to your documents as well. We welcome that. And then put your Kenyan, Moorish Kenyan or Moorish Ethiopians, Moorish Japanese, Moorish Chinese, Moorish Indonesian, whichever land is of your ancient bloodline and birthright. Put that at the top of your documentation. And then always put court actions at the top of your paper. We have exercised our right to be the courts on all lands. And so this court action language should be at the top of your documents too, but always put in the Moorish Kenyan ancient universal court actions. Your court actions are universal, living, ancient Article 3 sovereign court actions as well. You are the nation, you are the state, you're the government, you're part of the empire, we're a part of the empire, and we are all one together. And then whatever your ancient, your ancient history, put that in. We know that we are the ancient Moabites and Canaanites and others, and so we've put that in our documentation, and we encourage you to do the same. And then with regard to step 4, we placed a universal commercial code 1 lien on the public record that terminates the commerce for all the capitalized nom de guerre war names and U.S. or U.S.A. or U.K. or the fraudulent fake British mandates that was pretending to govern Africa and some of the islands, and then the fraudulent French mandate that was claiming to govern the lands at French Guiana, which we have our consulate there, Empress Frederica and the Moors there as well. So no matter where you are, Justice David L. at Japan consulate as well. So be sure that the proper flags are at the top of your documentation, and then go ahead with your courts and begin speaking. Speak. Your voice is the most important voice at earth at this time. So placing a lien, your liens will be done the same way our liens are done, and we will show you that just here really quickly, what our liens look like, what they say, and we'll show you the first 6 documents for these 6 steps that we're telling you right now. We will show you the documentation that we've placed on the public record so that you understand why you're seeing what you're seeing in terms of the things that have happened here on our land. The term person does not include the sovereign, okay? And so we are not at war. We are at peace, so we created and do use a peaceful, natural person that we govern in all capital letters as a tool to do sovereign commerce on our land. And commerce can also be done in capitis diminutio minima, which means the first letter capitalized and the rest of the letters lowercase. We possess a person, but we are not persons, okay? And if you want to look that case law up, stare decisis res judicata, and actually this should say Wilson, and we don't want to use, by the way, we don't want to use any abbreviations, okay? In any of the things that we do, we don't use abbreviations. We write everything out, okay? And then abbreviations here is because that is what that was. It was an abbreviated fraud, a short-lived fraud. So here where we say U.S. That's where we place the liens and things. So person is a noun, and it's actually in Latin, it's per apostrophe SN. Latin is persona, said to be compounded of per. In other words, though, it's a compound word. Person is a compound word, compounded of the word per, which means through or by, and sonus, which means sound. So through or by the sound. And so our natural person that we created and that we produce by affidavit gives off the right sound at commerce. It is the lawful sound for the things that we do. It is a Latin word signifying primarily a mask used by actors on a stage. However, ours, because we are the living, it is a conveyance method to move, convey, change, alter, update, claim, and possess all that belongs to us. Step 5, we place the Universal Commercial Code 1 lien on the United States Corporation Company and all agents, principals, heirs, assigns, and any and all derivatives thereof. That includes the fraudulent British mandate that was pretending to govern you, the fraudulent crown that was pretending to govern the lands, the fraudulent French mandate that was pretending to govern, and all others. So, and we'll show you what the Universal Commercial Code 1 liens look like. We'll just run through them very quickly because we talk about them all the time. And since we have new governments earthwide coming on board, we want to ensure that we emphasize and go back to the foundation and the basics of everything that we're doing often. Step 6, we place the Universal Sovereign Original Indigenous Ancient Fiduciary Affidavit on the public record, stating that all persons, letters, numbers, colors, punctuation, addresses, signs, signals, sigils, sounds, and all others are Moorish state property. Islam. Okay, Islam. One of our greatest successes has been in creating our own person. That means creating our own, all caps, and our own in capitis diminutio minima, and never accepting any other man's person. And that is found in the Biblios, the Bible, that we are never to accept another man's person. That's found in Job, the 32nd chapter, verses 21, 22, and 23. And it, in a nutshell, what those verses say is if someone accepts another man's all caps as their person and saying that's me, then whoever it is whose person they accept can take them and put them in jail, can take them away. That's what it says in the Biblios, that since you have agreed that they are your maker can take you away. So we properly rebutted that, and we can only create that which lives, the living, and so we created our own persons, natural persons. And so the first thing that we want to show you very quickly here, and we'll go through this really quickly because we have some other things, really important issues that we want to bring forth and emphasize as well. So back here at step 1, proclaiming our nationality, here is, just one moment, here is a nationality document. Let's see. It is all of our original documents are crafted in ancient English, which is our national language. And most of the other nations have a national language also. So feel free to craft your original appellation proclamation in your national language. And then when you place it on the public record, you can do one in blue for commercial purposes in common English. Okay. And this is, again, the appellation proclamation. It has my full appellation from ancient times, and I could even add in here, go back even further, and add my great-grandmother's appellation to this. However you choose to state who you are, you must state who your mother stated that you are, because it is through mother that nationality comes. Okay? And then we add titles of nobility at our will to the appellation, the holy appellations that our mothers gave us. Yes, I am like Tajiri Bey. My mother gave me Pauline Denise Ritchie. And so that is the appellation that my estate is in. And my estate goes back generations and generations. So does yours. Okay. And then we state here that we are not a part of any fraud concerning the dead foreign United States Corporation Company. And I'm running through these documents and putting them on the screen. And you can feel free to go back and stop the video and craft your documents the same way. And for the Moorish Kenyans and the Moorish Japanese, the Moorish Chinese, the Moors from wherever you're from, you can feel free to put our seals and stamps on your documentation. You can feel free to use our consulate mailing location here if you choose to. And you can also add your own stamps and seals and locations to what you're doing. Okay, so this is the appellation or name change document that we use. And then what we do after that is we do a judicial proclamation. And I'll show you that briefly. And so that way, when you see these documents, here is our judicial proclamation. It has the court action language at the top. It is in our national language, which is ancient English. And this, you can see on the screen, again, what it states. And wherever you see my appellation, just put yours there. Wherever you see America, put Kenya. Wherever you see America, put Japan or China or Indonesia or French Guiana or South America, Brazil, wherever you're from. You can use this same, or you can use this same language and state that the United States Corporation Company does not have jurisdiction over you. Okay? And I'll try and move this along a little more smoothly. So this is the judicial proclamation that we use, and it does contain stare decisis and res judicata. We are not Negroes, blacks, colored, or African American. Neither are you. The Moorish Kenyans, you're not Negro, black, colored, or some fraudulent status there. This is the res judicata, which is just the Supreme Court law, case law, that states that we have jurisdiction over our persons and ourselves. Okay? And we just wanted to run through this really quickly so that you can see it You can stop the video. You can write your own in your national language, and then do a blue one in blue ink and in common English or commercial English. But we use our national language first and foremost. You know, our ancestors know what they're doing because every other nation and has their own national language, and this is what made some think that we were not going to be able to overcome, because they said the only language they speak is commercial English, and that is like a dead language, because guess who gave them that language? The colonizers gave that language. And they said they'll never get over it because nations must speak a language that they all understand and understand, and that is unique to them. Ancient English is unique to us, and we all can read each other's documentation. However we spell it. Why? Because we're the original Phoenicians. So we'll open the meeting in just a minute, but I do want to get through these 6 documents because this is important for those who are doing the things that they're doing in terms of for the new nations that are coming on board with nationality. So, and then we, again, step 2, termination of all corporate contracts. Let's show that really quickly. And this is also for those who are here at America who want to proclaim your nationality. Ancient English is spelled however you choose to spell the words, okay? Those ancient English comes from within us. There are some Moors whose ancient English looks a lot like Spanish. Some ancient English, as they begin to write, and their spirit will say, put an E here, put an A here, put an O here, put a symbol here, a sign here. All they're doing is tapping into the language that their ancient ancestors used to write with. I know that the majority of my ancestors wrote in French. It's actually French English and French and Spanish English. And so much of my writing looks like French and Spanish and Latin. It was a mix. And as you look at when you go to the museums and you start looking at the records, you will see this type of writing there in the records. So again, this is a termination of all corporate contracts that I did specifically, where we just disconnected and said, we're not a part of anything dead, no dead contracts. And I listed the contracts and put things in, and then any contracts that may have happened throughout the years, we just included all of them in this last statement, all other corporate contracts that presumably exist in the fraudulently issued corporate constructs. Okay? And then we put our information, our stamps and seals, and all of that at the bottom of this document. The third step, a proclamation of trust. Let us show that really quickly as well. Our proclamation of trust and we just stated the master trust account. Our master trust accounts are the same sequence of numbers as, let's say, a state security number, a social security number, or something like that, but we place a lien on their ability to claim that sequence of numbers, and then we pull all dashes out. Okay, and most nations did not have dashes in theirs because of the way it was tributed from us. We were generally the only nation whose state security number, or and in our case, the social security number had dashes in it. Everyone else was pulling from those. That's the difference. And so all we did was just proclaim that we have a trust on the public record. Our trust it says here, our full faith and trust, our allegiance, our credit, and our energy are hereby vested in ourselves, for we are the people who are, and we state who we are. So for the Kenyan Moors, you would state that you are the ancient, original, indigenous, sovereign, natural, divine, Moorish Kenyans. You're the government, you're the law, you're the state, you're the empire. You're the heirs to all land, all natural resources, and all commerce. Islam. And that is what the proclamation of trust looks like. It's just a one-page document that states you are in trust with us and we are in trust with you. Islam. We're all in trust with each other. The international trust routing number would be the same routing number that we would use. This number right here is yet another number that goes to the Treasury. So you can look this number up. If you Google it, it'll tell you that it goes to the Treasury. There's another number that we recently introduced for financial purposes that goes to the Treasury as well. Either number is correct. Okay. I believe it was a 0534 number for the Treasury Direct numbers that we put on the public record. And we spoke about that recently. Thank you for asking. That did need to be clarified. Thank you. So this is our proclamation of trust. And all nations can do this, indeed. We encourage you to. And anything that has to do with us that you want to put and include on your documentation, feel free to do so. We are honored that you would even consider including anything that has to do with us. I'm Chief Justice Light Tajiri Bey. All of you are Chief Justices as well. All Moors are Chief Justices on the land. So, and then let's go to step 4. Step 4, a Universal Commercial Code 1 lien that terminates all the presumed capitalization, because capitalization and capitalism is the commercial platform that the frauds were using in order to claim to be the courts and claiming to be the law enforcement, claiming to be the police, claiming to put people in jail and things like that. Capitalism was the platform that was used. And so we terminate all presumed use of that by them, by frauds and foreigners. Okay, so what does that look like? The first one that we do is here. And again, these are the basics to governing on your own land. We did a Universal Commercial Code 1 financing statement and lien by court action on the public record. This is our court action language. This is a sovereign living ancient Article 3 Moorish American Al-Moroccan court action. And feel free to quote any of the things that we quote here. I did so on the Pauline Denise Ritchie, doing business as Pauline Denise Ritchie, as stated by the frauds. They used abbreviations, and they put here Federal Way Law. That's not a state. That doesn't even exist. Okay? And that's why we placed a lien on it. And then we placed a lien on this number, this sequence of numbers as created by the fraudulent foreign United States Corporation Company with dashes. We placed a lien on that also. And then we proceeded to lien anyone attempting to use those numbers. Okay? And for your liens, you can add as many debtors as you choose to add. You can use our mailing locations and things on your liens if you choose to do that, no matter where you are at Earth. You can use these codes that we have elevated to the law as well. So any of the things you see here that you feel comfortable using, feel free to use it. This is the natural area code for this particular consulate. So if you Google natural area code and put this one in, it will point you straight to this consulate where we are at Earth. And so, you know, we've placed liens on everything and everyone, attempting any fraudulent conveyance methods. So when you place liens, know that you're not placing a lien on a face. You're placing a lien on the conveyance methods that debt is being moved back and forth. That way, the faces that you see, if they are foreign, they then become subject. And they will do as commanded. And then the collateral statement, it says that there is $100 million in gold-backed lawful money for each sovereign living Moorish American heir. That means at Earth. It's not just here, it's at Earth. And we encourage each and every Moor to do these same documents for yourself, to claim your own vast estate. Okay? And then at the bottom of all of our documents, we put all sovereign, original, indigenous, ancient, divine, Moorish American autographs. And in the case of Kenya, it would be Moorish Kenyan autographs. Now, we could have put Moorish American and Moorish Kenyan and Moorish Japanese, Moorish Chinese, Moorish Thailand, Indonesia. We could have put all of that here as well. And at some point, we're going to do documents where we're all speaking earth-wide together. That's coming together right now, even as we speak. So all of those autographs affirming this and all sovereign, original, indigenous, ancient empire state of Morocco and de jure Moorish National Republic federal government documents are on the public record at America, Ancient Morocco, Northwest Mexum, Northwest Africa, the North Gate, Turtle Island, Gaia, Midgard, Earth. Okay, and then we sign here. Ego sum it means I am in Latin, and chronos means date, and you could say chronos or kairos, which means a particular date is kairos, and chronos means throughout time. And then we put our stamps and seals. And then we have a gold seal and some embossing, and we put our right red thumbprint with our signature on our documentation. Okay, so this is a lien on the nom de guerre war name and the social security number. And then we take this same sequence of numbers, which makes it a different number, by the way. Any number with minus signs is a negative. Any number without minus signs is a positive number. And because we're creditors, we don't use the debtor number. We're creditors, so we use the creditor number, which conveys credit. Okay? And so this is the lien on the nom de guerre war name. This is what it looks like. And it is on Moorish government letterhead. Islam. Yes, indeed. An autograph, indeed. And then we want to, once we have done that, place the Universal Commercial Code 1 lien individually on each, we want to place it on the persons that they've been using. Then step five, a Universal Commercial Code 1 lien on the United States Corporation Company and all agents, principals, heirs, assigns, and any derivatives thereof. And this should just say foreign, dead, okay? We're the living United States, and they're the dead United States, foreign and dead, okay? And so for the Moorish Kenyans, you would place a Universal Commercial Code 1 lien on those that were previously doing business as the Crown and the Queen. So you would do the same documentation as the Moors at the United Kingdom territory do, because that was the mandate for Africa. That was the presumed mandate for Africa. Let me make sure I state that properly. And what does that look like? Now, these liens, Moors, are very, very, very important. This lien that we placed on the United States Corporation Company, let us just show you briefly what that looks like and tell you a little bit about it. This is that lien. And keep in mind, Moorish Kenyans and Moors from all over, that when you do these liens, these people will be arrested. They may not be arrested that day, but at some point, they're going to be arrested if they act in that capacity. Okay? We gave it a cause for action number. Our courts issue and number the causes. And we start with the court action language, and we said the debtors are all doing business as governors. In your case over there, it would be governors, prime ministers, presidents, and all of that, because all of that is corporate nonsense. It has nothing to do with the true government. And so you put a lien on them and all of their heirs, assigns, principals, agents, and derivatives thereof. And then we included this one right here. And again, we're not mad at anyone. That's number one. We love all of our subjects. That's number two. And number three, when we place liens, we're doing it on a corpse. If the one who is the real Donald J. Trump is not a corpse, then that one is fine. But if there's someone acting in corporate capacity, they have to be arrested. Okay, and that is why we took fiduciary responsibility for all capital letters that we create. We created this document. Okay, and then we sent it out to the land, and this actually should be. This is where it went. And we did have this on the original one, but then we changed it to blue. So, and I wanted to point out that, again, we do not use abbreviations. We're speaking to land courts. When we liened them, we did put it in black and in those death brackets, okay? So make sure that your liens are done this way. And yes, you can send them here, or you would send them to the place that was previously doing business as a capital of Kenya. So wherever the capital of Kenya, the corporate capital is what it is, you would send it there. Send your liens there after you stamped and sealed them and put them in and autographed them in all lowercase letters and red ink with your right red thumbprint in your national language. And I would state that when you're doing things in your national language, change the spellings up even in your national language. Because the Kenyan that you were taught or the Japanese that you were taught, if it wasn't taught by your parents and your grandparents and your great-grandparents, if you were not homeschooled there, then it's a corporate language and it's a dead language. And so the spells are dead spells. And so you would need to add a letter here and there just to change it, but have it be phonetically correct for your national language. And that goes also for those who are the Olmec or Mexican Moors, you would change the Spanish unless you were taught that Spanish by grandmother and great-grandmother and great-great-grandmother, because they will teach you the proper spellings, which will be different from the spellings that you learned in those colonized schools. Okay, and so this is the language that we use. Again, same language for our liens. And then we just went through and named all of the corporations pretending to be the government. State of Alabama Corporation, Kay Ivey doing business as governor, State of Alaska Corporation, Mike Dunleavy doing business as governor. We went all the way down the list, and there were many. Okay, and many of these that are on this list are currently incarcerated. Some have been arrested and released, awaiting trial. And then here is the most recent arrest. Okay. So when we do the things that we're doing, Moors, it is 100% what it should be. Okay, this is our collateral statement, and again, it's stating the sum certain amount of $100 million in gold-backed lawful tender for each sovereign, original, indigenous burial parcel the debtor occupies on the land to which, and I put here Pauline, Denise Ritchie, etc. Where does it say all Moors and Moors? Oh, yes, and all nationals and all. Here it is, right here. I never forget our nation. All Moorish American nationals who are the Moorish National Republic Federal Government, the Moorish American Consulate, the Moorish Divine and National Movement of the World. The Moorish Divine and National Movement of the World includes Kenya. It includes everywhere, all other lands. Okay, so we didn't forget you either. We and your heirs, pursuant to ancient, sovereign, supreme, universal, natural, divine law. And then we named some treaties and things on the record. All nations have treaties for peace and friendship on the record. All nations have them. Kenya has a treaty for peace and friendship with either the United States or with Great Britain. So look those up. We've seen many of them in our study. They all have one because that was a part of the mandate that was given. And then we put a few other things in here, a few other statements according to the lien process, and then our stamps and seals. Okay, and we'll go back and put the, here, let's put the, let's make sure we put the, make sure we put the Supreme Court seal on here. And we are this is the seal for the Supreme Court for the United States, whereas the fraudulent corporate seal is the seal of the Supreme Court of the United States. Of means without when they use it. Okay. In ancient English, it means what we intend for it to mean, but when courts use it, they use it meaning without. So this is the lien on the United States Corporation Company and all of its agents, principals, heirs, assigns, and any derivatives thereof. And again, these persons will be arrested pending trial based on the word of the Moors, because it's all fraud. It was all fraud from the beginning. And then we decide what happens with the things that are going on. And then let's continue. So that's the lien on the foreign dead United States corporation, company, and all of its agents, principals, heirs, assigns, and any and all derivatives thereof. And then step 6. These 6 steps are most important in basic governing. All basic governing starts here. And all Moors at your territories should know and do these steps. Okay? Step 6, place a universal, sovereign, original, indigenous, ancient fiduciary affidavit on the public record, stating that all persons, letters, numbers, colors, etc., are the property of the Moorish state. Okay? And let's just show you briefly what that looks like. So this is the fiduciary document, affidavit rather. Quo warranto mandamus restitutio. All Moors at earth should have one of these on the public record. It states that, be it known that I or you, and you would put your appellation, your sovereign-born appellation here, and all Moors are the universal, sovereign, original, indigenous, ancient, natural, divine fiduciaries for the living state, the sovereign living state of, and for ancient Morocco, also appellation as the Maghrib al-Aqsa, and the Kenyan Moors will know about the Maghrib al-Aqsa. They changed, the foreigners changed it to Alaska because that is where we all came through and adjoined, coming from the different territories and lands. Maghrib al-Aqsa, and actually we've always been here, but as we began to go out into the earth, we took that route. And so they were saying Alaska because they could not, they were thick-tongued and not competent. So they said Alaska while we were saying this land is Maghrib al-Aqsa. The North Gate, North America, Northwest Africa, Northwest Amexem, Turtle Island, and it is the most extreme west among other sovereign land appellations. It's ancient Israel, it's ancient Jerusalem, it's Gaia, this is the ancient Middle East when you talk about the latitudes, Earth's latitudes. So those who know the numbers and who do the study on the latitudes, when you do the latitudinal study of Earth as a whole, this land is in the Middle East latitude. It is between there, okay? And so it's corporate Morocco over at Northeast Africa. So this is the fiduciary document, okay? And we do state the Constitution for the United States, 1789 and 1791, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4, among other laws. And it's about coining money, regulating the value thereof and of foreign coin, and fixing the standard of weights and measures. Now, the Moors that are at Kenya, the Moors that are at the other lands, all this is stating is that we all agree to match our money together. So you know how the United States dollar, all other nations peg their money to that. All we're saying is, for example, we have Moorish sovereign dollarium here, which is our United States dollar. The United States dollar is a unit of measure, and then something must be put there that qualifies as your dollar. That is something that no one can create for you. You create it for yourself. And if you choose, you can use Moorish sovereign dollarium. We're happy to send that out to you. Okay, there are many other nations that use Moorish sovereign dolarium, and so anyone from any of the other lands wanting to receive Moorish sovereign dolarium, again, connect with us at WhatsApp 334-294-9828. Put your email address in, and we will forward the Moorish sovereign dolarium to you most immediately, so that we can do commerce together. Okay, it is gold backed, and we have other platforms that are adjoining to Moorish sovereign dolarium even as we speak, such as merchant cards. We want to get out to all the nations, get merchant cards out, and things of that nature. So let's connect with us, and let's move forward together. There are definitions and authorities associated with this fiduciary document that are inherent in your bloodline and birthright. So the documents do not give you the authority. You already have it in your bloodline and birthright. The documents simply manifest your authority on paper so that you can send it out and do proper due process and proper notification. Okay. The all caps is a minor. When I say minor, it cannot speak for itself. She cannot speak for herself in this case. So I am the fiduciary for the all caps and for Pauline Denise Ritchie in capitis diminucio minima and Pauline Denise Ritchie in capitis diminucio nolo, which means no capital letters at all and no lowering of status. Okay. And we just put it in blue, black, red, purple, etc. And then we stated here, Job 32:21 and 22, we do not accept any man's person, nor do we give flattering titles unto man. For we know not to give flattering titles. Therefore, the maker of false titles is hereby bound and cast into the sea for eternity, never to rise again. Federal Rules for Civil Procedure, Title 4, Rules 17 and 18 speak about the person and what the person and who has capacity to deal with a person and tell a person what to do with regard to plaintiffs, defendants, and public officers. Okay? Minor or incompetent natural person who can speak a like fiduciary, a conservator, a committee, a general guardian, a presentative. The following presenters may sue or defend on behalf of a minor or an incompetent natural person. And again, our all caps is a minor. And then the all caps of anyone not knowing who they are is considered an incompetent. Okay. Joinder of claims. And you can look that up as well. Here it talks about getting relief by proper use of the person, and that a claim for money and a claim to set aside a conveyance that is fraudulent as to the plaintiff can be done without first obtaining a judgment for the money. And again, we're talking natural persons, living natural persons, and real money, gold-backed money. Okay. And then that is the end of this document, and this document has been placed on the public record, forwarded everywhere. It bears the stamp of our office, the office of the PMG, which is the Postmaster General office. That is our office, and it's in red and blue here. And this one is a subject of the Moors, okay? But and then also the Library of Congress, the Federal Reserve, all have received and been notified. And then we receive these back, even with our mailing location on there for the Empire State of Morocco and the Moorish National Republic federal government. And it was in our national language in ancient English, and we still got it back with natural area code and not a zip code. Okay, so what we did was we had to set up, or not set up, but activate the ancient postal system first. Then we could do these things. Okay, and we've done that, and many Moors at other lands have done that as well. Okay, so let's see. So now, what we will do at this time, I want to just one moment. I'm going to open up the meeting so that the Moors who were unable to come in can do so. Just one moment. Yes, we will open up the meeting, Islam. I wanted to get through those 6 documents prior to opening up the meeting, so that our brothers and sisters from the other lands can see and do and get and govern accordingly. Just one moment. So the conference has been unlocked. And those who would like to speak, the Moors who would like to speak, because we're not going to be addressing any court jesters or anything. No dead people.
When do we hear?
We're not going to be doing that. The meeting is open for those who want to come in. Islam. We'll leave it open for just a moment as we prepare to move into our subject matter, Islam.
Where's your inventory on the?
Islam. Hopefully everyone who is wanting to come in has made it in to the meeting.
Hey, Howard, when are you going to arrest me?
This is some fucking great, hilarious comedy.
Just one moment. Okay.
Come on, Howard, I want you to arrest me.
A few more minutes. And again, Morris, those who are coming in and interrupting or attempting to interrupt, because it's really not interrupting us, they've had a rough week. So please don't allow that to get to your ears.
You're a fucking liar, Polly.
That. Don't let it bother you. They have had a rough week. Based on the documentation that we all have been sending out. And so there are, all that is an attempt to war, back and forth, to war.
Where's your Land Rover, sweetheart?
We're not at war.
Where's that Land Rover?
We're not at war with anyone. We love everyone. If it's one thing they would love, is for us to go to war, back and forth. War. And we're not going to do that. We're going to stay focused on building our nation and all the Moors, the Moorish government.
When is Howard going to arrest me?
That you're not, just know, for example, the Moorish Kenyans, know that you're not at war with any foreigners on your land. The land is already yours. And so when they come to do things like that, ignore.
Where's your seesaw?
Okay? Ignore. Because the attempt to bait you into war They know that our ancestors will not allow war on the land. And our ancestors, we are our ancestors' return, and we're not allowing war on the land either.
No sea salt for you. Whoa.
So when they do that, just use the tools that you have to move forward. Okay? Maintain your nobility, your class, your style, your grace, your nobility.
Where's Angel Bay's conveyance?
All of that. Just one moment. Keep all of that intact for you. Hopefully everyone made it in who wanted to come in, Islam. Your nobility is not it's not for sale.
It's war, bitch. Where's your sea salt business? Where's First Ave?
We're not at war with anyone. And we're not going to go to war with anyone. Not even the war of words. Because if you acknowledge them, that means you're agreeing that they even exist. If you speak back, that means you're giving them life. So we don't speak back. We talk about them.
You should have that Land Rover by now, Pauline.
But we don't speak directly to them because why? And again, they've had a rough week. They've had a rough few years since the Moors have been standing up doing the work that's been done since Prophet Noble Drew Ali. They've had it rough, and even before then, So it's all good. We're in a good space and a good place together as a nation, and we're going to continue to grow and do the things that we do. So, with that being stated, we have opened the table for the Moors for anyone who would like to speak regarding anything that is going on with our nation.
There is no Moorish government.
Did someone say
everything to do with Moors is a scam?
State your name and nationality for the record.
There is no Moorish nationality. It's all a scam and delusion.
Okay. We're not getting...
Think for yourselves and do your own independent investigation before you get evicted, before you get your children taken away from you, wind up in prison, and get put in a mental hospital.
Moors, here's the thing. When people come on, or persons rather, because people don't do that, but people are generally not rude. But when persons come on and they start saying things, if you ask them where in the law does it say that we can't do what we're doing, they will never respond to that. They will never respond to that. Because, see, we're not interested in feelings and beliefs. We're interested in point in the law where it says that we, first of all, that we're not who we say we are. Point to that. You can't because we wrote the law. But then point to it where it says, we can't self-govern. Point to that. Tell us where that is. We know that's not there either. And to us, that's the bottom line. We don't need to hear all the rest of the rhetoric. We don't need to hear the rest of that. We're not going to be taken off course. We're staying right on the law. And when we stay on the law, we see what has happened. We see what has happened. Everything we said would happen. So we're not mad at anyone. We're not. We love them. And we're at peace with everyone. We don't even, yes, they come and talk and say things, but where's the law in what they're saying? Not one time in as many times as court jesters and dissenters have spoken, not one time have they pointed to the law and said, you're not who you say you are because this says Moors don't exist. It says it in the Constitution. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. We wrote the Constitution. Why would we write that in there? And for those who want to know,
well, you did get taken to jail for breaking the law. I'm just saying,
and for those who want to know, where in the law it says that we, the original indigenous ancient Iroquois, because we are the Iroquois as well, wrote the Constitution, we'll even put that on here. House Resolution 331, 100th Congress, second session, and I believe that was 1978, I believe, somewhere around there, where it states that Thomas Jefferson and that George Washington and Thomas Jefferson received the Constitution from us, and they framed it. And framing and restating are the same thing. They couldn't even restate; they just reconstructed it. But they got the original from us. So now, if there be nothing further, let's get into this, the situation with regard to what's going on right now on the land. We have been stating our economic independence and our ability to do things economically on our own land. We are still in transition there, so there are the two systems were running concurrently, but as you can see, the system from the last era is going away very quickly, and that's another reason why they keep coming and trying to say things and talking about finance and talking about evictions and things like that. The transition must happen, and that's what this is all about. And the transition has to happen all over the earth. At Kenya, the Kenyan Moors must create, or they can use more sovereign dolarium, which would be quicker for any of the other nations and other lands, because the system is already set up and connected as it should be by trust. And so then they have to transition all that they have to the new system. Domiciles have to be transitioned to the new system because all of it belongs to us, but there's a transitionary process that happens, and that transitionary process must fit legally. And when we say legally, we're talking about ancient legal. We're not talking about dead corporate legal. Okay? And that's where these processes that we've been doing come in at. The ancestors have shown us that all we have to do, and Kenyan Moors and Moors from other lands, all Ugandan Moors and Ghanese Moors, all you have to do is whatever process you will use to get a conveyance, which is an automobile, or a domicile, which some call a house, whatever process you would use, you take that same process and you rewrite it. And first put it on government letterhead, your Moorish government letterhead, and then you put it in corporate language on your own corporate documents, because you are the national companies. You're the CEOs of all national activity on your land. So all corporations are inferior to your national authority, and they know that. But you must state that properly, starting with the 6 documents that we showed, the 6 steps that we showed. So now, this is something that we have been looking at and dealing with regard to, again, commerce. Moors must do, we want to do commerce, okay? And so, but that commerce must be done in a manner that is legal and lawful. And that's why we do the documents on our affidavit by Moorish government affidavit first. That makes the process lawful, And then we look at the process and we say, okay, what does this require? Oh, it says you have to have a driver's license and a social security number. Okay, we issue those ourselves. So let's issue state security numbers and driver's license, Moorish driver's license. Okay, so no, we don't accept the documentation from foreigners. We issue our own. Okay, now where debts are concerned, and first of all, we have no debt, but we're looking at the legal processes. Once a debt is sold, transferred, altered, or conveyed without full disclosure, the right to collect on it is lost. Now, let me add the word restated and reconstructed and renaissanced and reformed, which is what we do. We restate documents all day, every day, and all nations must do that. So where titles to land and houses, deeds and titles to cars or automobiles rather, all of that has to be restated by the Moors on the land. Okay. The restatement, and here again, know that all debts are automatically altered if they're issued by foreigners. That's an alteration of a benefit, of an entitlement. You're entitled, according to the General Welfare Clause in all constitutions, because all constitutions have a General Welfare Clause. And according to the General Welfare Clause, you are due domiciles and automobiles and transportation. Those things are for the general welfare of all on the land. Okay? And so anything that's pretending to be a debt must be restated. Now, from the spiritual and ethereal and higher dimension aspects, when they say they've put something on the altar and now it's all of a sudden changed, it's a new something. When someone goes to the altar and they become a new creature or a new creation, it's because of the alteration of who they say they are. The name is automatically changed when anytime anything goes to an altar. It's a spiritual principle. So we take that same spiritual principle and we elevate it to its proper restatement and reconstruction and reformation. Okay, we change it and give it our living nature when we restate the documents. So again, debts then become credits when they are properly restated. Okay. Force majeure. When we restate documents, and again, we don't have to force anything. We're not at war. So I had to look this up because so many have been saying force majeure, force majeure. And when I looked it up, it says at law, it means unforeseeable circumstances that prevent someone from fulfilling a contract. Well, nothing is unforeseeable for us. We are not in contract with the dead. And that's why they say force majeure. Irresistible compulsion or greater force. Well, that's not what it means for us. It means superior strength for us. And of course, that's in French. Superior strength, force majeure. That is a French term. Superior strength at what? No, we don't need guns. We needed a superior thinking strength. Okay? We needed the ability to develop strong minds. We have strong minds naturally. All we have to do is wake up and use them, period. And that's what restating is all about. Look at what you see, make it uncorruptible and unalienable and inalienable. And then voila, you have superior strength. Now, something that I came across in my studies over the last few days and weeks, even when it comes to commercial filings and court filings, etc., we know that we are the creditors to everything, all land, all natural resources, all commerce. We're the creditors to all of that. Let me show you how the corporations have always known that we're the creditors to all of that. And I'll place this link just for your study. And more, as we look at these things, know that we have to restate everything. Okay? Whenever corporations file bankruptcy, for example, they will enter into the record a bankruptcy filing. Here is an example of an actual bankruptcy filing done by American Motor. Done by American Suzuki Corporation, Motor Corporation. Now, why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because I want to show you where in any bankruptcy that you are the creditors. They have always known this. Your sovereign-born appellation is in the documents, but it must be restated. So anyone who ever purchased a Suzuki, this document, first let me point this out. This bankruptcy document is 5,120 pages. So when I saw that, I thought, well, why is this document so long? What is it about bankruptcy that makes the document so extensive? The actual bankruptcy document, that's page 3, page 4, page 5, is actually, let's see, page 6, page 7, page 8, page 9, page 8, okay? It's really actually about 8 pages, the actual document itself. But then after these 8 pages, they start a list. They start listing the names of creditors and the complete mailing address to include zip code. And then they say the amount of the claim is secured, also state the value of the security. So I started looking at this and I said, well, what is all of this? I looked and I started looking at the creditors, who they listed as creditors, and the list just got longer and longer and longer. And then this happened. I started seeing the following. The names of persons. Let's just keep looking here. Again, these are all of their creditors. And I thought, I know they're not doing that much business between them and other businesses, so 5,000 something pages? Well, after they got done listing all the corporations that they did business with, they then began to list persons. So let's look at this. Look, this is persons. Name and address of persons in alphabetical order. And we're only at page 47 of a 5,120 page document. So if you ever purchased a vehicle from a bankrupt corporation or did any business with the bankrupt corporation, you're listed as a creditor. And I could go through this whole thing page for page with all of these names here. Let's just look some more. Look, just names. Names of people and businesses in alphabetical order. So Morris, you know that and again, whenever something was applied for, and this is why we use the sovereign born appellation. Whenever things are applied for, they don't necessarily say Bay or L. They use they connect the social security number and the name on the birth certificate. Well, we had to place a lien on that because those are debt instruments. And then we state that that's the creditor. Okay. Let's look at some more names here as we get down into this document even further. Lots of names. Just everyday people, as it were, persons rather, listed as the creditors. And they're from all the quote-unquote states. Now, if you'll look, they're using two-letter states. So in order to properly restate this and claim the actual benefit in this new era, we would spell that all the way out. Okay? And again, we haven't even gotten started. We're only on page 132. There's 5,120 pages. So, Morris, any business that you've ever done anywhere on the land, you are the creditors to that, to whatever it is. Okay? You're the creditors to that. It just has to be properly stated. And that's why they never called you back and said, hey, we owe you something. And that goes for Morris everywhere. Yep, you're out of here. That goes for Morris everywhere on all lands. They have lists, and guess what? We did not know that. And so our restated or altered names that we govern are on many, many, many bankruptcies out there. And here's the thing. Because we're the creditors, yes, Justice Morpheus, I see you in the chat. So you've got some credits out there that you need to take advantage of. And you probably did it in your sovereign born appellation, Justice Morpheus. And that's where the credit is. And that's why we restate and use our sovereign born appellations that our mother gave us. Because that's a holy name, and it is the creditor. And that's where the credits are. Yes, we're the Bays, Ls, Als, Alis, and Days. Those are offices that we have in our bloodline and birthright. We are actually enforcing and writing the law right now with every meeting. And that goes for Moors all over the earth. So anyone who's ever purchased in that last era, you or had any business or any invoices went back and forth, any checks written, even any contracts at all, But see, in order to collect on these things, we must restate all of these documents. They must be restated. And that's why government was so much, quote unquote, corporate government was so much paper. Most corporations that when you went in there, most of them did not have products there. They had paper flying everywhere. And most of the employees were pushing paper back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, because it was contract based. And again, we're not mad at anybody. We have to know these things and know how to collect on everything that belongs to us. Okay? So, just think about everything that your holy appellation was altered and restated on. And they couldn't restate your holy appellation. They created a fake one. They couldn't really restate or alter it because it can't be altered. And as long as we're stating who we are, Pauline Denise Ritchie, which is who my mother stated that I was, cannot be altered by fraud, so they had to create a fake one and give that fake one a birth certificate and a Social Security debtor number. So what did we do? We stated that we're the living, and we quashed their ability to use that. So that's what liens and levies do. Now, one thing I have not done that I'm going to go back and do because I've been so busy putting the information out there, I have to levy Pauline Denise Ritchie that fake one. I have to place a levy so that all of the benefits come. So, and again, Morris, we knew that we were taking it step by step by step. So when frauds come in and they saying a bunch of stuff and all that craziness, we are taking this step by step. Just a moment. When frauds are stating, oh, this didn't work, that didn't work, you're doing it. No, we're taking it step by step. Everything already belongs to us. We know that. Our ancestors are interested in us governing competently. The credits are out there everywhere. We just have to state them properly. And so again, this thing, those who have who in their sleep sign mortgage documents, that's actually credits to you. Because guess what? You're the CEO of the mortgage company. You're the inheritor of the mortgage company too. You're essentially paying yourself. It's just good accounting. That's all it is. We're learning to record and count. We are courts for record. We record our own documentation, and that goes for Moors at Earth everywhere. That's what this all was, is an exercise in learning to properly record everything that we do, step by step. And it starts everything. Nothing can be properly recorded if you're
a fucking idiot if you believe anything this bitch says.
You're a
fucking idiot if you believe anything this bitch says. Because it's not true. It's not true. She can't prove a fucking single thing. She's commanded so.
Just a moment, Morris. Again, your nationality must come first. Okay? You first have to say, I'm the creditor. Well, who are the creditors? The heirs to all land, all natural resources, and all commerce that all that stuff was made from. So nationality is the order for the day. Okay? And here's the thing. The foreigners, even their names, when properly stated by us, means that they're subjects. And that's why, That's why the vocal pushback. That's why, and it's not really pushback for us because you know how when we were growing up, we say sticks and stones may break our bones, but words will never hurt us. Sticks and stones won't even, we're not worried about that because we're not at war. And so words can never hurt us. We must properly state everything and be at peace. More as we have everything out there is a credit to us. So we can just be at peace and know the process and claim. Okay? So I wanted to show you this bankruptcy document and listen, let me say this. Can you imagine how long the list of creditors is for the dead U.S. corporation company is? And your holy appellation in its unaltered form is the creditor, or rather, as stated by you, is the creditor to everything. That's why we said, okay, everybody, just for starters, everybody has $100 million in their trust account. Everybody, just for starters. And that's really not all. However, that was a nice round number. So we said, let's start there. Another something that I wanted to share with you.
Yes, Mom. Can you put the link in the chat, please?
Oh, yes. Thank you. I thought I did. Thank you. There's the link to that document. Justice Morpheus, take a look and see. And here's the thing. If you bought from them and your name is not on the list, just restate the list and put yourself on there. Only we can do that. But I'm pretty sure it'll be there, Justice Morpheus. So that would be an interesting study to do also. Now, another something that I wanted to share with you, and again, all bankruptcy filings look like that. So know that if you worked at a company 50 years ago and that company is now bankrupt, you're the creditor to that. Because in reality, they never paid you one dime for your work. They only gave you fiat. They did not give you proper credit and due process. So all of that you can go back and claim in go back lawful money. And so when our Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, children, you're just plain rich, he meant that. We're not children anymore, so we know how to claim what's properly and rightfully ours. We're just plain rich, period. But our ancestors wanted us to sit still for a while and learn. Sit still and remember. Use the processes, come together, unify, earth-wide, and do what we know to do, what our ancestors have given us from within. Another something that I wanted to show you about termination of corporate contracts, because that is part and parcel of the processes of good governance. I want to emphasize the termination of corporate contracts is step 2 in the process of governing the land properly. So in our studies, we came across another set of documents. And I believe this came from this link right here. Let me put this in the chat also. Let me make sure this is not the same one. Okay. In my studies in looking at bankruptcies and things of that nature, This is another interesting piece of information here. In looking at a separate bankruptcy, this talked about the debtors, and again, this is an illustration of why we have to terminate all corporate contracts and then claim our own person and be in control of our person that we create and don't claim theirs. A petition under the Bankruptcy Act of 1898 or the Bankruptcy Reform Act of 1978 has previously been filed by or against the debtor, his or her spouse, his or her current or former domestic partner, an affiliate of the debtor, which could be your children or anything, any co-partnership or joint venture of which debtor is or formerly was a general or limited partner or member, or any corporation of which the debtor is a director, officer, or person in control as follows. So this is stating, in other words, all debtors, their agents, principals, heirs, assigns, and any derivatives thereof. That's what they're calling a debtor. And then, this is important right here, set forth the complete number and title of each, such of prior proceeding, date filed, nature thereof. When we do our court action language at the beginning of our documents, we're stating the nature of the document. The bankruptcy judge and court, we're stating that at the beginning of our document. That's why this is so important, because this is written into all bankruptcy law. Okay. The bankruptcy judge and court to whom assigned, whether still pending, and if not, the disposition thereof, if none so indicate. Also list any real property included in Schedule A and B that was filed with any such prior proceedings. And here, number 2, just like in number 1, with number 2, number 3, and number 3, they stated clearly talking about persons in control of the debtor. See, debtors can never be in control of themselves. There's always going to be a creditor that's in control of the debtor. And that's why we terminate all corporate contracts, because we're not affiliates of debtors. We're not a part of debt. We don't have anything to do with that except that we're the creditors. And we govern the bankruptcy. They have it written in. All we had to do was read it. And it says, where it says any corporation of which the debtor is a director, officer, or a person in control, that means if you're trying to use their all caps, they're still calling you a debtor. If you're saying that you're the authorized representative of a dead entity, then here it is, you're still a debtor by your own claim. So we create our own all caps, which look exactly like the dead evil twin. That seems like a twin, but it came from a false mother. Doesn't come from the same living mother. So we wanted to, we just take our time and look and read through. And, when they say, well, where is this and where is that? You said this and you said that. We're taking our time. We're going to look through and make sure that we can stand. And, of course, we can stand on everything that we've done. We must know the processes. We must know why we're doing what we're doing. Why are we terminating all corporate contracts with a dead U.S. corporation? Because we're not debtors. That's a must. Okay? And then let me say this. Let me show you here as a final document for today, for this particular court action. I want to show you where in their documentation, and see, we were not going to see this it was not going to even make sense until we listened to our ancestral energies and started restating documents ourselves. Let me show you, and this link is in the chat also. Let's take a look. This is a restated credit agreement. Let's just take a look at this. It's important that this be shown simply because it's where they actually say that it's restated. Now, for those that are familiar with the Securities and Exchange Commission, we're the original National Securities and Exchange Commission. We know that, okay? But just so that you can see here, this is at www.sec.gov, the archives. They have been, and again, they are subject to us. We've already done liens and levies and court actions on all of that. The levy, I think, is still well, we state the levy right now on the public record. We state a levy on all that belongs to us. By spoken affidavit on the record right now. Therefore, that levy is hereby activated.
Islam. I affirm.
Thank you for witnessing that, Empress. Islam. Here now, the security, those previously in the office of or acting in the office of Securities and Exchange Commission were restating the credits and turning it into debt. Restating credits. Now, I have a question, and I'm hoping that some of you will have the answer. When they say Fifth Amended and Restated Credit Agreement, can anyone tell me what is meant by Fifth Amended? We've talked about it in the past. Anyone? You can star 6 to unmute. What?
Islam. Didn't we restate that though too?
Yeah, we did. We had to for this reason.
Oh,
because we knew in our spirit that this was what was happening.
Yes. So
hold on just a minute. Go ahead, Empress. Go ahead, Empress. There was an Empress speak. Not Empress Angel, but there was another Empress speak about
the speech. Okay. Empress Chatali.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So when we restated the Fifth Amendment, it was that it said that the government can take private property or something like that. Was that Fifth Amendment?
It's similar to that. Yes.
Okay.
That is what it's related to, definitely.
Yeah. So the Fifth Amendment and the Constitution and restated. Okay. So I don't remember exactly how we worded that, but this Fifth Amendment is referring to the Constitution.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Empress Chatali. Empress Angel, go ahead.
Yeah, because that was, pretty much what I was going to state, that, they cannot use what we create against us. So we restated it to make the remedy within that. And I do remember that I read what was restated, and I was like, the last line had the remedy in the Fifth Amendment restated.
Yes, it does. Yes. Thank you, Empress Angel. Yes. And I knew you would have, listen, we're on it. Okay. So the Fifth Amendment is called the Takings Clause. The takings, like take something. In the Biblios it says, the kingdom suffers violence and the violent take it by force. That's what it says in the Biblios. Well, we don't have to use force. We're not at war. But we just use our pens and the Fifth Amendment to do the taking. So they're saying here, and this is on every one of the documents that have to do with credit. Fifth amended, that means that they're taking the credits and restating them as debt. Mercedes-Benz Financial Services USA LLC. The takings clause states that, well, initially it was saying that nothing private can be made public without due process. That's what it was saying. But the reason that it was stating that is because they knew, the ones who rewrote that and framed that hypothecation and subrogation and fraud, is because they knew that they were private corporations acting as government. They were not real government, and they were not for the public, and they were not for the people. For or by the people. The people is the public. So they said they were saying nothing's public. It's all private, and you can't get it unless you use due process to make it public. Well, you weren't going to be able to do that because not until you come out of that system and state your true nationality, because in that system, everything and everyone was enacting corpseness. And they could make a corpse out of anything in their system. All they have to do is capitalize it. So when Moors were going into those fake courts and saying, I'm John Bay, and I'll just use that as randomly, I'm John Bay, and he was really stating who he really was, but not knowing that a fake court cannot put anything living on their paper. They can't put anything, I don't care what it is, it will not live if it's on their paper. Their paper is dead paper. Their language is dead language. That goes for anything from fake courts over there in Kenya where they wear those white wigs. That's fake. The wigs, that's the Wigamore, fake Wigamore party, just so that you're aware. And so anything handed out by them has to be restated properly by a real judge, which is the Moors over there. Those are the real justices over there. At any lands, the Moors are the true justices. Foreigners are foreign everywhere. Corpses are corpses everywhere. And they're all the same. So the takings clause was saying, okay, everything is private, and then they enacted claiming it. That's what they were actors. They were saying, even if it says this is a public park or these are public streets and roads, we're going to tax you for using them anyway by pulling you over and making you pay. Well, we restated that. Why? Because they were pulling from the public treasury, and it wasn't even a real treasury they were using, so I can't even say that. We restated it to state that everything belongs to the people. So we flipped that right back and said, everything is public unless we say it's private. And then we can make our domiciles private if we want to make our domiciles private, and we can make our conveyances private if we want to do that. You know, all who want to do that can do that. But the land and the property and the everything out there is public until we say otherwise together, and we agree together that, okay, this right here won't be public. This is going to be private.
Islam. I found it. I screenshotted it. So if I may I read it?
Yes, please.
No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous facts, unless on a presentment or indictment by a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of peace or public safety, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life, limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall public property be taken for private use without just compensation to the public.
Yes. And that's why you saw what you saw this past Tuesday, just so that you're aware. Someone was brought before a criminal court because the people said so, according to the Fifth Amendment. And everybody can see that. And I will say this, that should tell us Moors all over the earth that yes, when our courts speak, it is the law. Everyone must obey. Everyone must obey. That's truth. That's truth. Because in the past, there were certain enacted protections that would have made it so that no one who was doing business as and hear me when I say this, a sitting president. What does that mean? If that's a sitting president, where's the standing one? The Moors. Period. All of us. Each and every one of us is the president. Each and every one of us is the governor. Each and every one of us is the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Each and every one of us at Kenya, Japan, Thailand, Indonesia, South America, the islands, Jamaica, the UK, everywhere. And that's why they were saying a sitting president, because that's not a real one. We stand. And all subjects sit in our presence. That's biblical, and the Bible is a trust document. Let us not make any mistakes about it being a religion document, a modern religion. It's not. It's a trust document. It's an ancient trust document. We wrote that. All the books, even the ones they took out, we wrote them. The ancient Sibyls wrote the whole thing. And guess what we're doing? We're rewriting, restating it today and putting it on the public record and stating that this is what it means. I'm not sure if many of you have seen the Gullah Geechee Bible. It's a beautiful book, and it's spoken it's written in their language, which is another form of ancient English. When you get a chance, if you want to look up the Gullah Geechee Bible, the New Testament, and they spell new differently from the way that the corporate English is spells new. They spell new the way the ancient English Moors was writing, So beautifully done, indeed. But yes, Fifth Amended and restated, that means that they're taking the credits until somebody takes them back. Until someone takes the credits back. And the only way you can do that Fifth Amendment and restatement is to restate it. And you can't restate it in their state. You have to restate it in a different state. And there's only one living estate, and that's the estate of the Moors at earth. There's two estates. and I can't even call that an estate, because since when is debt an estate? Dead estate, living estate. Period. So just so that you're aware, Moors, they didn't invent any of this stuff. They copied, restated, and enacted claiming. So the conveyance that we claimed is not even there when it's properly restated. None of them are. None of them are. Someone has their hand up. I'm not used to people putting their hand up. I'm used to Moors just saying Islam in our congressional assemblies. Empress Aisha, you have your hand, your electronic hand raised. Let's see. If you want to star 6, Empress. Empress Aisha, you're on hold. I don't know why. That I did not do. Let me see. And then this won't even let me take you off hold. Empress Aisha, are you there? Just one moment. Empress
Aisha. What I want to call it, life.
Yes, Islam.
Yeah, because the Creator, they can share stuff with you.
Who can, Empress?
Yeah.
Empress, are you speaking with us here on the call?
Yeah.
Empress Aisha? Are you there, Empress Aisha? Okay. She may not know that we're speaking. Okay. So, did you all get this this link in the chat? I wanted to be sure you got the link. So, all the things. Yes, all the things that we've been stating and restating and discussing and implementing, we're just now seeing that was what they were using before. They were using the process that the ancestors said, do this, and it's only after we started doing it that we saw that, okay, this is actually what they were doing to do the fraud. And we're making it uncorrupt and using the proper processes. And that's how that's how we move forward in what we're doing. Islam.
It's interesting that this is also from the archives. And so.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. Yes, it is. Again, the archives is just a place where things were hidden until we could understand what we were looking at.
Yep.
So, but that stuff that was on the public record, until we said it, we weren't going to see it. Until we knew in our spirit that this is what we should do, it was not going to present, because they were under oath not to show this stuff and not to tell it. We had to actually hear from our ancestors within us before these things would present themselves to us as a nation. That's why it's presenting now. So, with that being stated, this is day 2 of our full moon fast. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and then we'll end our fast tomorrow at probably 10 or midnight. for those who ended at those times and for those who are continuing and making it a way of life. Islam, whatever you're fasting from. I thought about this today too. What in the world would happen if we, yes, Justice Morpheus, yes, in just a minute. What would happen if we took a permanent fast from worrying, from guilt, and from shame, and just went about our mother's business? I'm in agreement with that. I don't know about y'all, but just fast completely from guilt, from shame, condemnation, worry, lack. We fasted from lack. Period. Lack is over. It's done. That's a wrap. Last era, not this one. Indeed, Islam. Beautiful, Justice Darius. Mushroom tacos instead of meat tacos. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful fast. And they probably didn't even know the difference. They didn't realize they were doing a holy fast and cleaning their system and still loving what they're eating. Islam. That's beautiful. Islam, Empress.
Yes, and so you had stated that fast, from worry, condemnation, and all that. Yes. And I had, essentially stated that when we were speaking previously about that whole of replacing those things, and you have to fill the void, and the only thing that could fill any of that would be truth. And
truth,
so
abundance, prosperity, boldness, confidence, all of that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Islam, truth. But only truth, yes.
Yes, truth. Well, truth will provide all that other stuff.
Exactly, that's what I'm getting at. Yes.
Yeah. And no lack, no fear, none of that.
And the ancestors agree.
Yes, indeed. Empress Shasha.
I just wanted to add on to that. Yeah. Yesterday I was listening to something, and it talked about fear being an angel repellent.
Ooh, that's good.
Because the fear, raises adrenaline, which that's the fight or flight, so all of that hormone or whatever it is. So then fear, which is when you worry and stress and concerned what people think about you, and
Yeah.
Well, it made sense to me because the angels are there to work with you, support you, protect you, guide you, inspire you, motivate you. So when you are in fear, you have created this boundary around you that nothing good can come in, and there you are festering in this energy of loose or whatever that stuff that they feed off. But you know what I'm saying?
Their job. They can't do their job.
Exactly. So when you stated what you stated, it was just brought all of that back, and it's absolutely let it be gone. I mean, right now to me, it's Armageddon, which means the great reveal. All answers are on display. You get what I'm saying? So whatever it is, it's there anyway.
Yeah.
You can't not be who you are at this point in time.
Yes.
So
yeah.
There it is. So that's what I just wanted to share. I just thought that whole fear and angel repellent.
It's powerful. So and also fear is a false invocation of jurisdiction.
Yes, it is.
Because see, when we yield to the fear, it's okay to feel fear, but we don't yield. It doesn't stop us from doing what we do. And after a while, we'll stop feeling it because we just keep going. We just keep going.
Exactly. Because if you know what you're doing is the truth, and it's love and all of those other things. Yeah. Why stop it?
Yeah, indeed. Islam.
Fear also is the mind killer, simply put.
Yes.
Like, remember back in the day, everybody played sports, and when you would run, and you would feel this pain in your side, and if you keep going, some people stop because of fear of the pain. But when we kept going, the pain went away.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
Islam.
Islam is its acronym. It says false evidence appearing real.
Yes, indeed.
That within itself is a real motivator if we look at it like that. Islam.
Yes, it is. Indeed. Empress Aisha, are you here? Are you present? If you are, if you would please *6 and just let us know you're here. Okay. Well, she had asked me about a package that she sent. I did receive it. And thank you so much, Empress Aisha. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Thank you so much for what you sent and for your donation, your generous donation. It was, of course, it's in Dolarium, our national currency, which just excites me. And I will be sending you your sea salt. Thank you so much for giving me the push that I needed to go ahead and start getting the sea salt out. It's important that we at least get started. I was going to wait until other things happened, but I'll start with that and go from there. So thank you. What you sent was beautiful. It was a beautiful writing, a beautiful card. And I really appreciate all that you have done and your presence here with us as well. Islam. Thank you, Empress Aisha. Islam Justice Kansu.
Talking about CISO.
Yes.
What doing internationally.
I can't hear you. Say again.
Can we do this internationally too?
Yes, if you can get the Dolarium here to us, we'll send the salt to you there. And again, we're walking through this process together because this is something I've not done previously.
Okay.
But we will do it. And the orders are placed by mail where you send the Dolarium to us in whatever donation amount you choose, and we send the sea salt to you. We might as well go ahead and get it started. And please be patient. It does not come in 1 or 2 weeks. This is not Amazon. These are handcrafted and everything. So, it takes a while for it to get to you, but please be patient. It will be there.
Okay,
and then, we have to know about the mailing process and all of that.
Okay.
No, please don't send Dolarium by email for the sea salt. The sea salt is a substance or substance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Dolarium by mail, sea salt by mail.
Mm-hmm. And,
or gold and silver if you prefer gold and silver.
Okay. Second point, I wanted to Noble Phoenix, the short video he put on last week on belligerence. Very well put for those who've watched it, and I just wanted to say to him, keep on doing the good work.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Islam indeed. Morris, I think it's important that all of us put videos out and stuff because every last one of us has something that we can put in a video. Even if you don't want to put your face there, show some documents that you put. Make it a 5-minute video if you want to make it a 2-minute video. Make it a 30-minute. However, we all have information that others can use. And let me say this about that, Moors. There is a certain segment of the population, and there's a little bit of static coming from somewhere. Islam. There is a certain segment of the population that will only take the message of nationality from you. Each one of us is assigned a specific set of people that we are to reach regarding nationality. And however you reach them is how you reach them, whether it be by videos, by recordings, by documents, or whatever the case may be, or by word of mouth, face-to-face, however you choose to do it. But there's a certain segment of the population that should hear from you. You're going to give them the push they need in order to go ahead and nationalize. You know, and they could get it from somewhere else, but just like it was stated in the book of Esther, you know, Esther was told, you know, you can do it, but if you choose not to do it, it's still going to get done. Somebody else is going to do it, but you'll miss out if you don't do it. And so however you choose to do that, just be preparing to get that message out there, because it's time, definitely time, indeed. So is there anything else from this great and grand Congressional Assembly?
Islam.
Islam.
Again. I just wanted to, the document before the Fifth Amended Credit Agreement, the link, but the link did not bring up the document that you were reading from. You had marked it up. I can't remember exactly what that
one.
Yeah, it didn't bring that up. It brought something else up. So I was just curious to.
Let me see if I can pull that document myself, because when I clicked on the link, it did not bring the document up right away. Let me see. Let me see what it puts on the screen here. Yeah, this is the document. It was page, and I apologize for not stating what page it was that I got that information from. This document, it came from.
My apologies, because I thought I flipped all the way down, but I didn't see.
It came from, what page was that? I mean, we could do a whole study on this document alone, because it's going to have to be, this is a document that's ripe for restatement by the creditors. But let me see, where did I get that information in this document here? Here it is. It's page 23 of the document, and I just clipped this first part, the first three. I could have gone through the whole document. But it just shows here in these 4 statements, and they use the word statement for a reason, because they're restating also.
Right. Okay. Thanks. I apologize, because I flipped through, didn't see it, so now I know it's there.
Yeah, I apologize for not stating that it was on page 23. I should have done that. I should have stated that from the beginning, Empress. My apologies as well. And I usually do. I don't know why I didn't do it this time.
It's all well.
Yeah, it is. It is indeed.
It's Islam, Empress.
Islam.
Quickly, that LBR, what does that LBR stand for? 1015-2.
it's a regulation. It's a let's look at that. LBR 1015-2. So that is the LBR. That's a good question too, by the way. Local bankruptcy rule. There it is right there.
I see. Okay.
Local bankruptcy rule 1015-R. Generally, when we're dealing with courts like bankruptcy and district courts, they have their own different, they have a set of rules that's different from the Supreme Court rules or from courts from other territories or areas. And so they'll say that they're doing things according to their local rules, you know, and then they list the locality, in this case, Central District of California. And notice they didn't say state of California because this is not a state of California court. It's still corporate, okay, but it's not a state of California, so that's local bankruptcy rules, Islam. Thank you for that. Beautiful question. Whenever people ask, and there's a question in the chat, has the BLM been liened? Whenever that question is asked of has this one been liened or that one, I always say, please do a lien yourself on them. The answer to the question is everyone's been liened. Every fraudulent corporate person has been liened because they were all agents, principals, heirs, assigns, or any derivatives thereof of the U.S. Corporation Company. All of them. So the answer is yes, but you want to have a copy of a lien, not a copy, but you want to originate a lien and have it in your hands and in your records so that when you put your documents on the public record, you know, the BLM Bureau, it could be Bureau of Land Management or it could be Black Lives Matter. I'm not sure which one you're referring to, but all of those were corpses and corporations. And so that were under that owe allegiance and taxes to the dead U.S. Corporation Company. So when we lean their head, the head of the snake, we got everything, we got the body. But then all law is specific. So then we get specific and start leaning specific corpses in that corporation.
Thank you, Islam. I was referring to the Bureau of Land Management, not Black Lives Matter.
It's like, you know, I don't think that's a coincidence either that those things are together. I don't think that's a coincidence.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Islam, Empress.
I have another question regarding liens. So I had liens, you know, a corporation, and looking at doing the corporate fiduciary document. Since the lien, there is a new chairman, or, you know, the head that I lien. Should I re-lien this new one, even though this is an heir assigned age, or, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of, I feel like
What does your spirit say? What does your spirit say?
My spirit says it's done because they're an agent heir. It's the same corporation. But I just thought I affirm. Islam.
I affirm what your spirit says because your spirit knows.
Yeah. Islam. Thank you.
Islam. Indeed. And anytime anyone asks those types of questions, I always say, what does the Spirit say? And not one time has anyone ever given me an answer that I could not affirm. Not once. The Spirit is always right when we listen and we're being ourselves. There's no wrong answers ever. Except pretending to be a dead citizen. But we know that already. Are there any other questions? And that's also how you know that we're all tuned into each other. We're all tuned in the spirit. Because when we say, well, what does your spirit say? The spirit comes out and says the exact same, almost verbatim what we would say. Can't go wrong with the spirit. Cannot go wrong with the spirit. That's why we say each one of our spirits is our first authority on how to do things. Each one of us. The Moors at Kenya, edit your documentation and your paperwork according to what your spirit says about Kenya, the land. You can't go wrong with it. The only time that things get a little shaky is when ego or fear is in the way. Or some other energy that's from the last era. That's not, that anything that's from the last era will cause things, intentions to wobble a little bit. But once we clear that stuff out of the way, even anger and stuff like that. I'll tell y'all really quickly just a little experience that I had today. I got mad today because my phone, ever since we changed the date from 1442 and we traveled 580 years into the future, which is now, ever since we did that, this phone has not been the same. And so it will literally start pushing buttons and dialing and calling people and doing things, and I'm not even touching it. It does all of that on its own. And so if you get a call from me and I don't say anything and I don't call back or anything, then the phone just started doing what it does. It does it all on its own. And it has something to do with the screen being cracked also. The screen is cracked on the phone. But I said I wasn't going to go into contract with anyone until I know how to do that properly. Now that I know how to do it properly, I have to make the time to do it. So, yes, and it started that the day we changed and moved and did the time travel. The day we traveled in time, 580 years into the future, that thing and the printer went crazy. Absolutely. And now I can barely touch it and it'll just start doing things. And then if I take the battery out and turn it off and turn it back on, it will change the date back to January the 1st of like some date in the past. Years way back. And it'll change the time all the way back to some distant time. So we know that it can't keep up with us because it's just technology. It's not even our technology. So I expected it to have some problems keeping up with us. But it'll be remedied shortly. Just, it does call. It will even take pictures of me or the room or something and send it to other people. I'm like, wow, this is interesting that we went forward and it's trying to go forward too, I guess, and operate itself. I don't know. But anyway, I have nothing further for this great and honorable Congress. If there's nothing further from this Congress, we will adjourn until Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. If there's nothing further, peace. And wait a minute. Just please wait a minute. I do have one thing. Just one thing really quickly. One thing. I said I was not going to end another meeting until I first do this time. So I've done it previously, but I want to adjourn our meeting with the following. And I'll try not to cry when I do it because I just love this so much. May your work be your rest. May your food be your medicine. May your water be your energy and strength. May your way be easy. May you prosper and be in divine health. May all that you touch live abundantly because they are touched by you. We shall continue to unify as we continue this grand rising in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Islam. Peace and grand rising.
Islam, I affirm.
Islam.
Peace and grand rising. Beautiful Empress. Islam, grand rising.
More peace and grand rising.
Thank you for your Empress. Peace and love, grand rising.
Peace and grand rising.
Islam, Islam, Islam.
Peace and love.
Islam.
Rise